Welcome to the first episode of the ICAS Dialogues. ICAS is Institute for Critical Animal Studies. So I am Nathan Poirier. I am a sociology doctorate student at Michigan State University and co-director of students for critical animal studies and director of events for ICAS. Today we're here with Anthony Nocella, who is the co-founder of ICAS, the director of outreach for ICAS, and assistant professor at Salt Lake Community College. So hi, Anthony. Welcome. Thank you for being here today.
Hey, thank you for allowing me to be here. I'm really excited about the ICAS dialogues and spotlighting different people and sharing the space and being collaborative, which is really essential in dismantling the academic individualism and competition. So yeah, thanks so much.
Great. So I'll get started with the questions here. So first, what is the origins of ICAS? How and why did that start?
Well, ICAS started from Kayla, and that started in 2001. And Steve Best and I wanted to create more legitimacy for radical voices within the animal liberation movement, provide spaces and conferences for them. Edit books so we provide space and place for them as well. And so we knew we were looking at other movements. I was very involved in, working towards political prisoner support and freeing all political prisoners as well as all prisoners, and looking to dismantle prisons, as well as, looking at transformative justice and restorative justice at the time. And then, very involved in Food Not Bombs, looking at the Pride Parade, getting involved in that, as well as Earth First and ADAPT, which is a disability organization. So I saw, we need to work together. And then we need to give legitimacy to radical voices within animal liberation on a global level. And so we started doing it. And then in 2006, we said, hey, there's a lot of scholars doing similar work. Let's create a field. And John Sorson, Richard Kahn, myself, and Steve Best, and many, many other wonderful, beautiful, brilliant minds created criminal studies, right? And then in 2006, a handful of people in ICAS at the time wrote the principles, right? That Steve Best, Richard Kahn, and I, drafted up. And we wanted to make it decentralized, but we also wanted ICAS to be a grassroots, fully volunteer, not academic. We wanted to show the world, and we also continuously show the world, that we can make change without money, right? Challenging the nonprofit industrial complex. So that's kind of one of our goals, and to be intersectional, but making sure not to be Elvis or Beach Boys and hijack other people's, specifically Black intellectuals, Black activists, Black artists, Black cultures, work, and identifying their work, right? And so while feeling that there is tension, as well as growth, like which hip hop does, we also wanted to be collaborative, and we wanted to support and hype each other up rather than being a white-centric colonial framework of individualism and competition, right? We wanted to learn from people like Patricia Hill Collins and Bell Hooks and Angela Davis and Kim Crenshaw, the founder of Intersectionality, making sure that, if we use these words, that we center Black liberation and identify and speak about the oppression of Black people, and not just talk about intersectionality around animals, the environment, and disability, but we also always speak about the words and the origins of those words. So that's ICAS, and now it's a global movement with journals, Journal for Criminal Studies, with Amber, George, and yourself, Nathan. The Peace Studies Journal that I'm working with, Sarah Tomasello, she's done a phenomenal job. Then there's the Green Theory and Praxis Journal that a lot of people are working on, including the editor, Eric Juergensmeyer. Then there's Scott Hurley and myself doing the Critical Animal Studies Theory and Studies book series with Lexington, myself doing the Radical Animal Studies and Total Liberation book series with Peter Lang. Alex Navarro and Anya Gabriela Gonzalez and so many others in Latina America ICAS are heading up the Spanish critical studies book or journal, which is phenomenal. And they're doing a tremendous amount of work there. And then, of course, you're doing a lot of events. Annie, as I mentioned, Annie Bernachet is doing the publicity and spotlights and things of that sort. So there's a lot of people that challenge us within ICAS and without, that we might agree with and might not, but it makes us a better person. And I found myself changing a lot, even with the people I like or the people that I don't like, that makes me a better person. And that is the difficulty of collaboration. And I think that's what we want in ICAS, is to always collaborate. But collaboration is a lot harder. Like editing is a lot harder than writing your own book. So we have to strive always that ICAS is grassroots, fully volunteer, and collaborative, because it makes us grow. It makes us reevaluate me, for example, my whiteness, my patriarchal, actions and behaviors and thoughts and inquiries, as well as my able-bodiedness and my elitism as a professor, right? So I need to acknowledge my privilege, my supremacy, right, and challenge that. And sometimes people don't like it, but you've got to come back the next day and still be challenged to be a better person.
Excellent. So then what do you see as the future of ICAS? How would you like it to continue to evolve?
I think the Students for Criminal Studies organization that you, Sarah Tomasello, Annie Bernachet are heading up are doing a phenomenal work. I think students are always going to do some phenomenal work and make the connections. And I think, keeping students involved, keeping young activists and new activists involved, and making sure that it doesn't become an academic institution, but a scholarly and activist institution, and global, right? That's, pushing the edge always. That's what critical theory is about, from the Frankfurt School of, Eric Fromm and Herbert Marcuse. We've got to be influenced by these people and not just pretend to make up these theories. Critical studies does have our foundation in intersectionality, total liberation, anarchism, and to believe in that. So I really love collaborating. I'm working with you and Annie on a book right now. I'm working with Amber on a book right now, and a few other people on different books. So I think, always striving to humble yourself, which I've done in my life. I've grown a lot. So that's where I think ICAS, is a space and place for marginalized, oppressed voices, but then also a place of saying, I'm willing to stay here, be challenged, and build friendships, collaboration, and a collective, a working anarchist collective, not just some academic association where people rotate here and there, right? But open, inclusive.
Yeah, great. So in just those couple of questions, I think we covered a lot of ground. So I think I'd like to say thank you for joining us today.
Cool. And thank you so much for everything you do. And I can't wait until you're done your dissertation and, I get to read it. So you're a brilliant individual. So thanks so much.
Great. Thank you, Anthony.